Helmets, helmets, helmets. You need to wear a helmet. So, why wear a helmet? A helmet is the most important piece of gear you can own. It's essentially your lifeline. Let's start with the facts. According to the NHTSA, helmets reduce motorcycle rider fatalities by 22 to 42% and reduce brain injuries by 41 to 69%. Need more reason to wear a helmet? According to a study by the National Trauma Data Bank, unhelmeted motorcyclists were more likely to be admitted to the ICU, were more likely to need ventilation, and more likely to have clinical indications of significant or severe injury. If you're a current motorcycle rider and don't wear a helmet, what are you doing? The bare minimum you should be doing is protecting your noggin. How do you pick out what helmet is best for you? To narrow it down, let's first pick a type of helmet. Different types of helmets include full face, modular, open face, and half. Now, there's more types of helmets than that, but those are the general ones I want to talk about today. Full face helmets, like this, offer the most protection, since, well, they're protecting your entire head. Modular helmets come at a close second. This is due to their hinges being a weak point in the event of an accident. Open face and half helmets are third and fourth respectively, as they expose your face, which won't be fun when you get in an accident. People usually pick these helmets through their comfortability, or they just like the style. All of these types of helmets do the job of protecting your head, and they do it quite well. But if I were to pick one, I would personally pick a full face helmet. Even though I do prefer full face, just remember, any helmet is better than no helmet. So picking any other type will still benefit you immensely. Within these types of helmets, there are also different styles. You could go retro, sports, cruiser styles, I guess. These can offer different performance benefits, different comfortability, different, wind noise, just all, for the most part, personal preference kind of things. And some helmets do have better protection than others. As far as I know, the different aesthetic styles of helmets don't particularly affect how much protection they give you. Once you've picked what type of helmet you want to get, the next thing you should learn is certifications. And in this sense, I mean motorcycle helmet certifications. All helmets in the USA are required to be DOT certified. Now, the DOT is the Department of Transportation, and they're basically the all-ruling, all-knowing, well, maybe not all-knowing, but they're the people that decide what is legal in terms of transportation in the US. And obviously, motorcycles are a form of transportation. We're getting a little off track. Like I mentioned, every single helmet in the USA is required to be certified by the Department of Transportation. If it's not, and it's being sold in the US, then it's being sold illegally. Now, this is why you can't import helmets from other countries, as usually other countries have different standards and they don't have to go through the DOT certifications. If you try to import a helmet from, let's say, Europe, where they have the ECE standard that they have to pass, there's a chance that US Customs might seize your helmet. Now, there are ways to get around this if you were thinking about importing a helmet. I know some people mark it as like a souvenir, so US Customs doesn't see it as something that will be used on the road, even though, ECE standards are, honestly, I think they're better, from what I know, they're better than DOT standards. But legally, every helmet in the US that is used on the road has to be DOT certified. Now we got past that. What you really want to look for when you're buying a helmet is a SNELL certification. Now, this isn't to say that helmets that are only DOT or ECE certified in the US are trash. They're not. They'll still be good helmets. This helmet I'm wearing right now, the Icon Armada, is DOT and ECE certified. Now, I got this helmet back in 2018, which means I am due for a helmet replacement, which I will hopefully do before this next riding season. The white Shoei helmet I did show at the beginning was to be my replacement, as I found a really good deal on it on Marketplace, but it is slightly too big for my head, and I will show that later in the video when we do sizing. Anyways, SNELL certification. A helmet can only be SNELL certified if it passes the rigorous testing that SNELL puts out. I don't know the specifics of the SNELL test. I believe the DOT and ECE and SNELL all have a test where they drop an anvil onto a helmet at different angles or on different surfaces. I'm not entirely sure on that. But the SNELL test has more tests than the DOT and ECE do. Again, if you can't find a SNELL certified helmet, don't worry about it. Just try to find something that's DOT and ECE certified, and Just read reviews online on the helmet you want to purchase. You'll have people that have already been in accidents in these helmets and can tell you how it held up when they were in these accidents. That'll really save you a lot of the headache, again, like literal headache from when you might get in an accident, of knowing that, hey, this helmet wasn't the best and now I'm paying the consequences for it. So really try to hone in on finding a helmet that is safe. Again, make sure it's DOT certified for sure. If it's not, probably run away unless it's ECE certified, which I believe is in most European countries. Again, can't find a Snell helmet, don't worry about it. Don't have the money for a Snell helmet, don't worry about it. Just make sure you read reviews on the helmet that you buy, watch durability tests, and make sure you're satisfied with it. Ultimately, it's your body that you're protecting. So as long as you're happy with the amount of protection you're getting, then go ahead and buy that helmet. Another thing is, not every helmet goes through the Snell test. Companies voluntarily put their helmets through the Snell test as it makes their helmets look better, but obviously some companies don't have the money to do that, or they choose to opt out of it for different reasons. So even if a helmet doesn't have that Snell certification, there's a chance that helmet might be just as good as a Snell helmet, or even better, but the company just decided not to put it through the test. So again, do your research, make sure it's something you're satisfied with, and don't buy any cheap Temu, Amazon, eBay, non-certified helmets, because that will not protect you in the event of a crash. There's actually a possibility that it might cause more harm than good. Those cheap Fugazi helmets, they can explode on impact, all the shrapnel can go everywhere, and you're gonna have a bad time. So just really try to avoid those as much as possible. Now that you've picked a helmet that you're satisfied with, how do you pick the size of the helmet? Now, the best, and I believe the only way, kind of, to do this is to go down to your nearest cycle gear or local motorcycle shop and just try on the helmet. Now, while you're there, you can try on a bunch of different helmets. You know, maybe the one that you just picked about 5 minutes ago does not feel good on your head. It doesn't fit your head shape, it's uncomfortable, and you know, you're already at the shop. Just try on different helmets. See what you like, see what see what fits your head. Your head might just be weirdly shaped and those other ones don't fit. You might find a helmet that you think is really cool, but again, you have a weirdly shaped head, so it doesn't fit on you. Just explore your options while you're there. You're already at the shop. You know, this is why I think going to a shop is the best option. You have the opportunity to just try on a bunch of different helmets. You could try it on, you could test helmets for hours and hours if you really wanted to. Obviously, the salespeople won't be too happy with that, but you want to make sure the helmet you get is something that you really want. It's not a cheap item to buy. They're pretty expensive. But anyways, we're getting away from the point. I did say sizing. So how do you size a helmet? When trying a helmet on, you want to make sure there's little to no play in any direction. This helmet fits me pretty well. I'll probably take a better video of this, but I'll just talk about it right now. When I move the helmet, if I try to hold my head still and I move the helmet, it doesn't really have a lot of play, right? I'm trying to move right now, my head's barely moving. You know, there's a little bit of play, but it's very little, very non-noticeable. The cheeks, you want to make sure the cheek area is really up against your cheeks, you know, almost like you're pressing the cheeks of a chubby little kid. Make sure it's real firm, but not too tight where it's uncomfortable. The forehead area, they usually do the finger test. You want to make sure you can't stick your fingers in there, or if you can stick your fingers in there, it's very minimal. This one, I cannot stick my fingers in at all, so that passes the test. I also try to make sure that I check the distance from my eyebrow to the top of the helmet, as this might impair how much you can see out of the helmet. You want to make sure the pressure, the padding around the whole helmet is even and firm all around. You don't want any loose spots. Again, this goes back to head shape. If it's not the right head shape, you might have loose little pockets and, you know, random spots where your head just doesn't fit the helmet. You really shouldn't purchase a helmet that's too big for your head. If you do, you're really not gonna have a good time when you're using it on the bike. What happens is when you have a helmet that's too big, you're gonna have those big pockets where it's not completely tight. So wind's gonna be able to seep in there. That's gonna cause more wind noise. That's also gonna cause the helmet to kind of push back on your head, and your neck and your head are just gonna not feel good after like 10 minutes. You wanna make sure it's not too tight either. When you're trying a helmet on, you wanna try it on for like 5-10 minutes just to see if it feels too tight. Putting the helmet on feels tight. Like this one was super tight when I bought it at first. Like putting it on would honestly like kind of crush my temple. Don't worry about that. When you're in the helmet, if it feels fine and it feels like it's the correct size, everything's even all around and it's not super tight, you're not getting a headache after like 10 minutes. And the only hard part is putting it on. Don't worry about that. It'll kind of mesh to your head shape and it'll kind of break in. It's kind of just the break-in period of the helmet. So yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about it being tight when you're putting it on, just more so when you have the actual helmet on. If you start to feel uncomfortable or it starts to give you just a migraine after like 5-10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, probably shouldn't buy that helmet. Again, if the helmet feels too big, size down. Now, if you size down and it feels too small, then you might just need to find another helmet. That helmet just might not be the right shape for your head. So I did say that was probably the only way, but you can't just measure your head shape. I usually try to go around the forehead area, just get a measuring tape, and online, most helmet manufacturers have a size guide. You can just use that to get your sizing for the helmet, but again, you will have different head shapes, so you might not get the right size on the first try. And it's kind of just a pain just reordering the helmet and, you know, buying it, waiting for shipping, trying it on. Oh no, it doesn't fit. Or now you have to reorder it, send the old one back, and it's just a process, it's a process. So if you have the opportunity and the privilege to go to a motorcycle shop by you and try on helmets, I would recommend that 100 times over ordering a helmet online. Hope you guys learned something today. I'll probably be making this into a series of just different gear. I mean, honestly, I don't wear all the gear. I don't have all the gear. I'm saving up to get boots next, so you'll probably see those soon. I'll probably just make this into a series for how to buy each piece of gear. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.